Hello everyone, welcome back to the live session conducted by Python coding. So today we have came up uh, with a topic called as data cleaning, which is one of the important topics, okay, in data analysis or in data science. And see, I'll give a very short answer for this, okay, and then we'll start with the quiz sessions. Okay, after the completion of the quiz session, then uh, we'll continue with the data cleaning. We'll understand why data cleaning is important, and then we'll see all the steps which is included when you talk about data cleaning. And after that, we'll uh, we'll perform data analysis on a uh, data set, which is a dirty data set. So we'll try to clean it, okay, with all the possible uh, with the all possible informations, and we'll try to clean it properly, and then try to perform EDA if time allows us. Okay, so that is what we are going to do today. So first of all, uh, the first and very big question comes to our mind is, and this question was asked in the last live session which we I have taken yesterday. One person was there who have uh, commented on the chat that, sir, next time whenever you came live, please come up with a data set where you have to clean the data. Okay, then I also feel that yeah, he's right, because whenever we talk about data analysis, so 70 to 80% the job is to be done with the data cleaning only. Okay, so 70 to 80% the task uh, is based on cleaning the data set. Okay, so now why I'm saying that yes, data cleaning is necessary. It's very important. 70 to 80% the main work is about data cleaning only. Okay, so I'll give you a very one or two line answer for this. That see, because we deal on real world data. Okay, whenever we perform an analysis, so we perform or we do on real world data. Okay, so whenever we collect the data, okay, which is taken from the real world, which is live, okay, which is true, so it's never clean. Okay, and dirty data leads to wrong conclusions. Okay, so if the data is not clean, if it is dirty, so that is going to lead us to wrong conclusions. Okay, so then it will not matter that how good your model or how good you are performing your analysis. Okay, if the data set is only not clean or if it is dirty, then irrespective of you're choosing a good model or you're performing a very good analysis, the conclusions, the insights, uh, the overall report, okay, and if later on you're going to train your model, ML models, so ML models will also uh, make wrong assumptions, make wrong predictions. So that no one will want that thing. Okay, so that's why data cleaning becomes one of the major core part of the data analysis. Okay, now with this, what we'll do, we'll start with our quiz session. Okay, a very quick quiz session of 10 questions. Okay, and we'll see the response. Based on that, we'll have 10 questions. Okay, and after that, what we'll do, then we'll talk more about data cleaning. We'll see all the steps that is included in data cleaning, okay? And more than that, we'll talk that in which type of um, whenever if there are missing values, so how to handle them. Then if there are many missing values and you want to fill them up, then how you are going to fill them up based on column types, column data types. So everything we are going to see, okay? Okay. So let's just start with our first question. And now all these 10 questions are based on data cleaning only, okay? So whatever you feel, now there would be people who are watching who know or who have tried data cleaning already, okay? And there will be people who have not tried yet, okay? So there will be beginner, intermediate level people, okay? So those who know replied, those who don't know. So based on your understanding, okay, whatever you have understood till now, if you are learning Python, based on that also you can try and answer the questions, okay? So try to participate. That is the main important thing. Don't just watch, try to participate, try to make this session more engaging. That will be more good. Now let's do what? Let's bring up with our first question. That is question number one. That is on your screen. And as usual, you guys have to reply with yes or no. Okay, it's very simple. So your first question is it important to handle missing values in a data set before analysis? Okay, so the question is very interesting that is it important to handle missing values in a data set before performing any analysis? Yes or no? Okay, so I can see one yes in the chat. So I'll go with yes. Okay, one more yes. So couple of yes in the um okay. So for question number one, the answer is yes. So those who have said yes in the chat, they are correct. Okay. Now let's go to the next question. That is question number two on your screen. As you can see, should you remove duplicate rows in your data set if they are not needed? Okay, so the question is, should you remove duplicate rows in your data set if they are not needed? So if you should remove the duplicates or not? Yes or no, if they are not needed. Good afternoon, thanks. Okay, so there is a question by Philip uh, Gibidi. He's saying that his question is that if someone who has not performed data cleaning with Python before, is this a good session for me to start off with? Yeah, obviously, 100%. This this session is okay. You're talking about this particular live session or about this curriculum live session this year? if you're talking about this particular live session, so yes, this is the best thing because I have targeted beginner and intermediate level audiences. Okay, those who have very basic level idea about Python, about data science, data analysis, they can easily learn. And if you are targeting about this particular session which we have started this year, so then for that also I will say yes only. Okay, so yeah, this is the good time to start with. Okay, so I can see a couple of yes for question number two in the chat, and the answer is also yes for question number two. So let's move on to next question, that is question number three, that is on your screen now. The question is, can you use the pandas library in Python to rename columns easily? Yes or no? So for renaming columns, can you use pandas? Yes or no? Okay, I can see yes in the chat. Okay, anyone who knows the answer? And now this is a very easy question. So one more yes in the chat. So couple of yes. So yes is the correct answer for question number three. So let's move to the next question. That is on your screen now. Um, is it necessary to convert categorical data into numerical format for certain types of analysis? Yes or no? Now, those who don't have any idea about data cleaning, if they are feeling, look, see, these are very basics and general questions. Okay, don't limit yourself that okay, this is particular to data cleaning. No, it is not particular to data cleaning. This is very basic to data cleaning. Okay, so if you'll try to understand it, okay, so then it's very easy, and you have to just reply by saying yes or no. Okay, so yeah, I'll again repeat the question for you guys, that is it necessary to convert the categorical data into numerical format for certain type of analysis? Okay, now that the particular thing the question asks, which we have already done in our previous live sessions. Okay, yeah, so multiple yes in the chat. So uh, yeah, for question number one, the answer is yes, correctly said, rightly said, that the answer will be yes. Sometimes we need to change the categorical data uh, into numerical uh, format. Okay, and correctly said that mapping. Sometimes it is also called as mapping. Okay, so yeah, yes is the right answer. Okay, so we'll continue with our next question. That is question number five on the screen now. Now, guys, the question is: should you always remove outliers from your data set? Yes or no? Okay, for those who don't understand outliers, so for them, I'll explain you in simple words that outliers are some values uh, which are very far from the ideal values. Okay, Suppose if you have a data set, you have a column called as price. Okay, so all the products prices is ranging between, I'm just giving you an example, from ranging from 0 to 100. And you have one data set, you have one value which is 500 or 1000. Okay, so that will be considered as an outlier. Okay, and that is going to affect your mean values. Okay, so that is an outlier, that it is totally far away from your ideal range. Okay, ideal range of the values. So now okay, multiple yes in the chat as I can see. So guys, yes. Okay, अरे भाई लेके जाओ, यहाँ पे आवाज जाता है. Yeah, so I can see multiple yes in the chat for question number 5. So okay, see for question number 5, it could be a question where yes and no both can be correct. Okay, now it depends on the context. Okay, sometimes removing the outliers is the best solution. Okay, but sometimes we should not remove the outliers because they affect the value. Okay, they affect the data set. So it depends on the context. That's why I will say, in my opinion, yes and no both will be the correct answers. Okay, because it depends on the context. It not always, outliers does not mean that you have to just remove it only. Okay, sometimes you have to keep it and sometimes you have to understand it. Okay, that is also one important thing. So yeah, so yes and no both can be the possible answers. Okay, so it depends on the context. Actually, that will be the answer. So yes and no both. Now let's move to the next question. That is question number 6. So that is on your screen. Uh, the question is it possible to fill missing values, missing numerical values using the mean of the column? Yes or no? Okay, so I'll again repeat the question. Is it possible to fill missing numerical values using the mean of the column? Okay, so if you have a numerical column and if there are missing values, so can you fill that missing values with the mean of that particular column? Yes or no? Okay, I can see one yes in the chat. Yes, possible. Okay, okay. Let's see what will be the reply from the rest of the people. Okay. Uh, okay, I can see one more yes in the chat. Okay, so we'll go ahead with yes. So yes is the right answer for question number 6. Okay, so we'll move it to the next question that is on your screen now. Can you use regular expressions in Python to clean text data? So the question is, that is question number 7, can you use regular expressions in Python to clean text data? Yes or no? Okay, okay. Multiple yeses in the chat. So, okay. Kindly explain regular expressions. See, um, Regular expressions is a basically you can say it is a sequence of characters, okay, that basically that basically defines the search pattern, okay, how you search the data, okay, which is commonly used in cleaning and validation kind of thing, okay. Regex, you have heard of the thing word regex, okay. So it's pretty much you can think of regex, okay. So a regular expression, in simple words, if I'll say, so a regular expression is a pattern, okay, which is used to find text, match text, replace values, okay, extract specific parts, okay. So for that purpose, the regular expressions they are used. And in Python, if we have to use the regular expression, so then there is a module called as RE. Okay, so uh, probably we will explore regular expressions in this live session. Okay, okay. If the problem demands, if the our data set will be like that, so we will be using regular expressions. Okay, so stay tuned up. We are going to use irregular expressions today. So as I can see, for question number 7, there are multiple yes in the chat. So actually the answer is also yes only. So let's go ahead with our next question. That is question number 8 on your screen. Now, the question is data normalization a common data cleaning step for machine learning? Okay, data normalization. We are talking about data normalization. I'll again repeat the question. Is data normalization is a common data cleaning step for machine learning? Okay. Now this could be questions who have used or who have performed data cleaning. I think they can only answer it. Okay. Because most of you will be confused with data normalization. That what is data normalization? So data normalization basically you can uh, think it like a technique which is used to standardize formats, okay. Suppose if I'll give you an example, if you have a date, okay, if you have a column called as date, okay, now the date column might be there could be multiple values. There could be like 25th December 2025, then there could be like 25 dash 12 dash 2025, then there could be some values like 25th DEC 2025. So now you have to understand all the values, and based on that you have to standardize them in a proper format, in a proper time format, okay. So that could be one thing called as, means that could be data normalization, okay. uh, if you have suppose if you have a unit column, okay, in that you have all the different kinds of weights. Suppose some people wrote it 5 kgs, some people wrote 6 kilograms, okay. So for one unit metrics there could be multiple notations which can be written there. Now you have to convert them all in 1 kg only, kgs, okay. So for that unit conversion thing, that is called as normalization, okay. So there are different approaches. So this is one of the techniques which is, or one of the steps you can say, okay. So uh Varalakshmi is saying, sir, please job ready, start job ready ML paid courses. Okay, we'll look into it. Okay, thank you for that. We'll look into it. Okay, so for question number 8, as I can see, multiple people have said Yes, so yes is the correct answer. Okay, so let's move to the second last question of this quiz session. That is, that is, should you ignore inconsistent formatting issues in your data? So I'm again repeating the question. Should you ignore inconsistent formatting issues in your data? Yes or no? Okay. Couple of no's in the chat. Okay. So rightly said. For question number 9, no is the correct answer, as we should not ignore the inconsistent formatting issues. Okay, otherwise, it will lead to the breaks. It will give us breaks. Okay, that we don't want. Okay, and suppose if there are same values but with some difference. Okay, so what will happen if we'll not figure it out, or if we'll not fix it, if we'll just simply ignore it, so that will be treated as two different things, but actually that is the same thing, only the notation you can say or the spelling you can say that is incorrect. So we need to fix it, so we should not ignore that kind of thing. So the answer will be no. Now, with this, that's bringing us to the last question for this quiz session. Okay, that is on your screen. So for question number 9, it is no, guys. Okay, so those who have said no, it is correct. Now, question number 10 is on your screen. Is it a good practice to document your data cleaning steps for reproducibility? Yes or no? Okay, so I'll repeat the question one more time. That is it a good practice to document your data cleaning steps for reproducibility? Yes or no? Okay, okay, I can see a couple of yes in the chat. Okay, now before disclosing the answer, uh, there would be some people. So let me explain the question first, and then let me give the answer. Okay, so the question generally saying here that whenever you are performing data cleaning, so is it means it is a good practice to whatever you are performing, means what types of data cleaning you are performing on your particular data set. So store it or write it, okay, somewhere. Okay, so is it a good practice? That the question means. Okay, now the answer is yes. So those who have said yes, okay, so they are right. Yes is the correct answer for question number 10. Now manually. Okay, now it might happen that now 2 or 3 months later, you don't remember that what you have changed. Okay, what type of cleaning you have performed. I'm talking about when you have not documented the cleaning steps. Okay, I'm talking about that situation. So you have first cleaned the data. Okay, now suppose 2 or 3 months later, if now you don't remember what type of steps you have used. Okay, now when you will again reproduce the cleaning, so what will happen? Then it might happen that 1 or 2 steps you will miss it. Okay, or 1 or 2 steps you will perform extra. So then it will impact on your result. So then what will happen? Then we cannot trust on the result. Okay. So result cannot be trusted. So then there is that will be a loophole. Okay. So that's why whenever you are performing data cleaning, it's important to just remember the steps, or if you not remember it and that is not possible to remember, okay, so then what you can do, you can document it somewhere, okay, that these are the techniques or these are the steps which I have followed to clean the data set, and because of this reason I have used this time kind of thing, okay. So yeah, that is one of the things which we should practice. So for question number 10, it will be yes actually, okay. Now with this guys, we are done with our quiz session. Okay. Now today it take very long time because I have to explain it also. Now what we'll do, as I have said, now let's just simply talk about data cleaning, okay? And after some insightful from data cleaning, we'll try to move on. We'll try to move on to our data set, okay, which I have came up with today, and we'll try to perform our data cleaning and then some EDA on that, okay? So now, as I have in the starting of the live session only, I have told you that the real world means we collect real world data, okay, and that the real world data is never clean, is never 100% correct, okay. It have some outliers, it have some missing values, okay. So that is common thing, okay. So because of that, it becomes a dirty data. Initially the raw data which we collect, that is a dirty data, that is not 100% accurate. So that dirty, if we'll not perform data cleaning and if we'll directly start working on that raw data, then what will happen? Then it will lead us to the wrong conclusions. Okay. So if you are using a very good model or if you are performing a very good analysis, then also our result or our outcome will not be 100% correct. Okay. So that is one of the important things that makes data cleaning a necessary part of data analysis, or you can say that's why it is a core part of data analysis. Okay. Now uh, let's do what, let's talk about the step by step process, okay, that we will, that we can or we should include in data cleaning, okay, whenever we are performing data cleaning. So step by step will uh, let's see what are the steps, what are the possible steps which we can include, okay, to clean our data, to clean our data set, okay. So first of all, the first step should be to look out our data, okay, to understand the data. So the first step, that is, okay, that will be considered as step one, okay. The first one will be understand your data set, okay, understand the data or the data set, and I'll consider this one, okay, this one as most important, because based on this only, whatever the other things are dependent, okay. So whatever the other techniques, methods which we are going to perform on our data set for cleaning the data, that will be dependent on the understanding, okay, whatever you are understanding from your data. So for this particular thing, okay, so understand the data or the data set is most important, and that is the first step which we should do, okay. So before touching the data, means before going directly jumping and applying the functions to fill or find missing values, before doing that things, first of all do what, load your data frame and write these 2 3 lines, okay. So df dot head to see that how your data looks like, what are the columns, okay, how, what are the missing values, okay. Then info, to have a brief information about your data set, to that how many columns are there, what are the data types of the columns, okay, what is the total values present, okay, and all these kinds of information about your data set, okay. Then one more and very important thing is to have a statistical summary about your data set, okay. So for that you can use describe. So these are 2 3 codes or functions I'll say, which you can use before touching the data. Okay, before directly jumping and started cleaning and all, you should do these particular things. Okay, and in the describe there is one parameter which is called as include. So that is also very important, because by default the describe only give you the description, the statistical summary about the numerical data types. Okay, so if you want to perform on each and every one, so then what you can do, you can write include all, or in place of all, if you want to perform statistical summary uh, differently on integer, differently on float, on differently on categorical values, so then you can write the data type name here. In place of all, you can write the data type name. That will also do your work. Okay, now whenever you are running these commands, so whenever so whenever you are running these commands, head, info, describe, okay, so what you look for. Okay, only running these commands is not necessary. What is the first step one? That you have to understand the data. Okay, so what you will look for, and based on what you will understand, okay, that is the main big questions. Okay, so first of all, you have to look for the column meanings. Okay, the column meanings, that what does that column particularly means, what type of value that column particularly contains. Okay, that you have to understand, then only you can move ahead. So that will be the first thing, that what does that column means. Okay, what type of value that column contains, that is the main thing. Okay, and point of business, that is also means that is very much important. So first of all, you look for what is that column means, and then second, that what type of value that column is containing. Okay, suppose if it is a numerical data, a medical data set. Suppose in the last live session, I remember, if we have worked on heart disease. Okay, heart disease prediction analysis. So we have worked on a data set in which there were many columns which were related to cholesterol level, high blood pressure, okay, and these kinds of things. So a person who does not know about the cholesterol levels or the blood pressure kind of thing, so for that type of person, he will never be able to do or perform a proper analysis, because he don't know about the data, the column. Okay, that what kind of column is it. So it is a medical related, heart related column values. Okay, so you have to understand first that I'm not telling you to just become a doctor. Okay, I'm not telling you that, but what I'm saying, that you should have an idea that what should be the ideal bps, ideal cholesterol levels. Okay, and if it is increasing in that, then you should have a brief uh, 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 idea about that. Okay, I'm not saying a complete idea, but there should be an idea about that. Okay, you should have some knowledge, or you should gain some knowledge about that particular data set on which you are working. Okay, so that is also one of the important things. So I'll write it over here. Okay, so I'll convert it into raw, and I'll write that what you have to look for, what you look for. So the first thing is that the column meanings. Second thing will be the data types. Okay, that what type of data it stores. Okay, so that will be considered by the data types. If it is a integer data type, then it will obviously store integer values only. If it is float, then float values, decimal values. If it is an object, then string values. Okay, categorical values. So yeah, so based on the data types, what type of value that column contains, that will be clear. Okay, then next thing is missing values. Okay, how many missing values are there, that will be the next thing. How many missing values. Okay, if the particular column having missing values more than 50%. Okay, so if the more than 50% of the values are missing, then I feel then there is no need of filling those missing values. Okay, then you just completely can drop that column. Okay, you can do that if it is more than 50%. If it is less than 40 or approx 30, okay, so then you can fill it with whatever the possible, or at that time the whatever the situation will be. If it is a numerical value with mean, median, depending on the situation, obviously. If it is a categorical value with mode, okay, if it is any other situation, if it is more than 50%, then you can directly drop. So there are multiple cases, but missing values is now the next thing which we should look for. Okay, then the next thing will be which we should look for is strange values. Okay, strange values here means that uh, the values which difference which is very far from the ideal range. Okay, suppose if all the values are having 1 to 10 and one value is 50, one value is 100. Okay, so that don't suit on the range, so then that will be considered as the range values. Somehow you can say it as the outlier, so look for that. Okay, the strange values. Okay, suppose all the values are a numerical, and then there is at the rate, or there is a strange something symbol. Okay, so that could be that which is not clear. Okay, some strange mathematical notations, maybe that could be also one of the things that can make the value strange. So there are possible ways, but the next thing is strange values. Look for the strange values. Okay, then the last thing which I'll say you should look for is the units. Okay, is the units or the format. Okay, I have just given you an example on the quiz session, that if you have uh, uh, a date time column and it is in object format, and I have given that there are multiple ways of giving a date. Okay, so now you have to convert it into in such a manner that every date time format should be in date time structure only. Okay, so that is one kind of thing. Okay, then it should follow a proper unit system. Okay, to measurement, to perform measurable or quantitative measures. Okay, so that these are the things what you should look for, and based on that, then after that you should perform a fixing. Okay, then you should fix your structural issue. Now these are, you are looking for the structures, that if there are misbehaving structures on your data or your data values, and then try to fix the structural issues. Okay, now this comes in the step one. Now let's talk about the step two. Frames are for send some data frames for practice website. Okay, sure. I'll provide you some uh data sets for practice. Okay, I'll provide you some. Okay, uh, probably after the live session I'll try to provide you. Okay, now the next step is that will be to fix. Okay, to fix the structural, to fix the structural issues. Okay, now what do you mean by that? Now the step two which I'll say, uh, to fix the structural issue. Now we have seen what we are looking for, so we have seen all the things which I have mentioned in the step one. Okay, so now let's say if we have the column names in some different manner. Okay, so then what we should do, then we should first structure our column names. Okay, so probably we can do what, we can extract all the columns, and then we can perform, we can remove spaces from the forward, from the back. Okay, we can remove all the extra white spaces. Then um, then if in the column camel cases are used. Okay, if suppose if there is one column called as uh, average price. Okay, so where a is there are, that is of two words, average and price. Now a is in uppercase and price p is also in uppercase. So then what we should do, then the proper way should be that first of all we should make every word, every character into lowercase. Okay, then we should remove the white spaces from both the sides. Then for the white spaces which is in the middle, which is partitioning the two words differently, average and price. Okay, so we should make sure that that white space also we should remove it. So how that we should remove it, so we, for that we can replace them. Okay, so we can replace the white spaces with underscore. That is a good habit. Okay, so if there is any, and if there is some words, suppose some unwanted words, some unwanted symbols in the columns, so we should remove that also. So that is also one of the things. So that will come in the structural issue. Okay, so what we have to fix in them, so all the fixes, like uh, so all the probably the fixes which will come, which I have mentioned now. Okay, in the naming. Okay, so if there is some inconsistent naming, So what we should do, we should clear it out, we should make it consistent, we should make it all of the characters or of the characters of the column names in lowercase. Okay, that is the first thing we should do. Then we should remove the white spaces, we should replace the middle white spaces with underscores. So these are some of the things. Okay, so then look out at the space, look out at the hidden characters if there are some hidden characters. Okay, suppose it happens though that sometimes we use one emoji and that emoji is not supported by many of the interpreters or many of the different types of coding encoding systems. Like suppose UTF-8, pandas read CSV use mostly by default it uses UTF-8, that is not supported by that, so then we can change it. Okay, so then there are many things, but these are the things which we should use for fixing the structural issue, okay, with our column names. Okay, with our uh, then one possible thing can be to correct the data type, to correct the data types first. Okay, suppose if we have a column called as date, okay, and that is in object format, so what should be our first thing to fix that particular problem, to fix to first of all to identify that thing, and then second to fix that thing. So how we can fix that? For that there is a method in pandas, to underscore date time, so we can just directly pass our column name in that. Okay, and and that's it, that will be done. If there are some extra parameters needed, so we can apply that, or otherwise it will be our task will be done. Okay, if there is a price column and that price column is in suppose object format, okay, so then what you should do? Okay, so then you should convert it to a numerical column. Okay, a numerical data type. So for that there is a function, you should use it, you should convert it. Okay, so these are some of the things which no one will tell you. Okay, but these are the things which you yourself have to identify and then fix it out. That is the way how it is, means this is the way how this particular thing is done. No one will say you. Uh, that's why I always say that data analysis is based on the individual who is performing it. Okay, and that's why there was one question also that whenever you're performing data cleaning, you should make a documentation of that, that you yourself will forgot after few days or few months that what type of technique you have used at that time. Okay, so these are the things which we should keep in mind whenever we are performing data cleaning. Okay, now, this is the step two. This was the step two. Okay, in the step two, you have to look out for these things, structural issues. Okay, now I've shown you that what kind of things are can come in structural issues. Um, then the next step can be that will be step three, and it can be for handling the encoding. Okay, handling the encoding and the text problems. Now, what do you mean by handling encoding? Okay, so just like I have just in a few minutes before, I have just given you one thing, that's the read CSV by default supports UTF-8. Okay, so there are different kinds of encoding systems. Okay, UTF-8 is the standard one, which is used by most of the programming languages. Okay, now there could be some characters which does not come in UTF-8. Then what we should do? Okay, there could be some broken symbols which are not supported by that particular encoding system. So then what we should do? Then we should try to look out for different encoding system that supports them. Okay, and then try to replace those broken symbols. Okay, and try to fix them out. So that is called as handling encoding um, and text problems. If there are some texts which are broken, which are not comes inside the UTF-8 or some different kind of systems, so then try to fix them out. Okay, so that is also one of the important things. People ignore this step. Okay, most of the people does not know about this, but this is, I'll say, it is important. Okay, because the text issues which we ignore, which we don't know about, will silently break the grouping. Okay, grouping, to make the joins, filtering, it will break those things. Okay, so that is one of the important thing that we should do, that handling the encoding thing. Okay, see, encoding basically, uh, what do you mean by encoding and text problems? Okay, when I say handling encoding and text problem, so what do you mean by that? So see, the text data, okay, the text data is basically stored as bytes. Okay, and those bytes must be interpreted using an encoding system. Okay, because you are converting bytes uh, to a readable format. So that is called as, and that bytes has to be read by the interpreter. So interpreter will read, means read those text bytes in a different way. Okay. So for that particular, for that operation, for that reading operation from that text, which is the text data which is stored in bytes, and those bytes which is going to be read by the interpreter, okay, or loaded by the interpreter, encoding is used. Okay, so that is done by using encoding. Okay, encoding is what, it is a type of a rule book, okay, in which all the rules are mentioned, that if this type of symbol is there, means of notation is there, then that will be read by this kind of technique, or this, in this way. Okay, so if we select the wrong rule book, suppose if encoding is a rule book, okay, by which we just convert the normal text data which is in bytes to our interpreter or compiler. Okay, so if we use the wrong rule book, so then what will happen? The characters will break. Suppose if it is a one character, so then it will break into two. Okay, so it is supposed to be in one group, but because we have breaked it, okay, by using different encoding or different rule books, so then it will be now in two different groups. Okay, so that will be go later on, it will result in erroneous output, or not exact output what we wanted. Okay, so yeah, that is one of the things. Okay, that is handling encoding and text problems. Okay, I'll show you when we'll come with our data set. So I'll show you by showing, giving you one example. Okay, so no need to worry, I'll give you an example for that. Okay, so it will be clear to you guys. Okay, so for now you can know about encoding, that it is a type of rule book which is used to convert the text data which is in byte format, um, that is going to be read by the interpreter. So using this encoding system, okay, that is done. Okay, and there are different types of encoding. One example I've said, that there is UTF-8, that is by default. Then there is one Latin one, I guess, something like that. Okay, then there are multiples. Okay, so it depends on how or which types of characters you are using. Okay, it depends on that. Now let's move to the next step, that is the step 4. In that there is, now when we have handled the encoding and the text problem, so now we should handle the missing values. Okay, so then there is handling missing values. Okay, now this is one of the very con one of the major concepts that you will see everywhere. Okay, you will see everywhere, because most of the data set have some missing values. Okay, and then you have to find that missing values. Okay, that in which column there are missing values present. Then you should determine that what is the percentage of the, means data type. What I have told you, that if it is greater than 50%, then there is no uh, then there is no, what you say, if it is more than 50%, then you should probably drop it only. Okay, so yeah, so that is there. So handling missing value, so first of all you should inspect that what are the columns in your data frame which is having uh, missing value. So how you can do that? So using this command. Now we have used this command. Most of the people you should know it, but those who don't know it, df.isNull.sum. Okay. So this is one of the commands, or this is one of the functions used together to perform an inspection on your whole data frame, on your all columns, so that they have null values or not. So df here stands for the data frame which we have loaded. Okay. Is null is a function which checks for that particular column having some null value or not. So it checks that it has a null value or not. If it has a null value, it will give you true. If it does not have a null value, it will give you false. And now dot sum is the sum function which is used to sum all the values. So now based on the columns, in each column, if there are missing values, so it will give you true, and all the true values by this sum function will be added, and then in the end you will get all the columns, and in respective to that you will get all the missing values, and if there are no missing values in that columns you will get 0. If there are missing values, so whatever the count of that missing values will be, it will be given by that. That we'll see in later on when I'll switch to the working window when we will work with our data set. So this particular command we are going to use it. Okay. Now this code is used for identifying. Okay. So it is used for identifying the missing, or identifying the number of missing values in your column. Okay. Now after that, what we have identified it, then how you will decide it to fill it with. Okay. Because columns are of different data type. Okay. Some columns will be of numerical, some will be of categorical. Okay. Some will be of some different. Okay. So then what? Then how to fill them? If you have find the missing values, and if they are in a proper ratio, so that we can apply the fill function. Okay. To fill them, so then what we should use to fill it? What are the criteria? Based on that we should decide that now we will fill it with mean, or fill it with median, or fill it with mode, or we should drop, or we should keep the non values. Okay. What we should do, what should be the criteria? Okay. So the criteria here should be, uh see, it should be based on, uh it should be based on data type. Okay. So we should decide to fill the values based on the data type. Okay. It means that, suppose if we have a column, if our column type is numerical. Okay. If our column type is numerical, so then there are possible two techniques. Then there are only two techniques which are possible. Using them we can fill it. One is using the mean, that is the average. One is using the median, that is the 50%. Okay. The half of the value, where the half lies. Okay. The middle value, based on that. Okay. So if our column type is numerical, okay, so there are two techniques, mean and median. Based on that, you can fill them. Okay. But when to use mean and when to use median? Okay. So see, um, when your column is having symmetric distribution, okay, when it is having a symmetric distribution, so then what you can do? Then you can fill it with mean, the average. When your column is having is one sided skewed, whether left side or right side, or having outliers. Okay. So when your data set is one side is skewed, either left or right or any side. Okay. If it is skewed, or if it has outliers, so then fill it with the median value. Okay. Then fill it with the median value, because sometimes it has seen, because if you have outliers, means the values which are ranging very high in comparison to the normal values, means all the other values, so you will notice then the mean and the median will be different. Okay. The mean will be slightly lower and the median will be slightly higher. If you have noticed, I have noticed that, that's why I'm saying. Okay. So then it is best to fill with median if your data, or if your column is skewed, okay, or having outliers. Otherwise, if it has a symmetric distribution, then go for mean and fill it with mean. Okay. Now for categorical values, if your column type is categorical, okay, if it is that, then do what? Then fill it with the mode. Okay, then fill it with the mode. So if your column type is basically a categorical in nature, okay, it is categorical, it has having some object values. So then you can fill it with them with the modes, okay, with the mode value. Mode means the most occurred value in your column, whatever the value which will be the most occurred, you can uh, fill it the missing values with that. Okay, now this is probably you can do it only with few categories, not it is not applied on most of them, but yeah, on few of them you can apply it. Okay, now there could be some data type where what happens, where only a very small number of rows have missing values. Okay, there could be situations like this also, that where a very small number of rows having missing values. Okay, suppose less than about 5% of the data. So on them what you can do, suppose if those rows having some missing values, okay, and that is less than 5% of your data, so then you can remove those rows. Okay, then that is not going to affect that much. Okay, so you can remove them. This is one of the way that you can try it. So you can remove the whole that whole row. Okay, so you can do that, because removing few rows does not change the overall pattern. Okay, so I have told you less than 5% of the data, if it is missing, if the number is very small, then you can simply remove it. Okay, and it will be, and why removing will be the better option for a smaller number of rows, because um, it will be more safer. Instead of guessing values, instead of you'll try it to fix with the mode or mean or median, instead of that, it will be more safer to just remove them only. Okay, and that will keep your data clean and simple also. So that is also one of the things. So means, if I'll give you example, suppose if you have 100 rows. Okay, suppose if you have 100 rows, out of this 100 row, three or four are missing data. Okay, three or four rows have some missing data in them. Okay, so you can just simply remove them. Okay, that will not matter at all. Then there is one more situation where it says that is irrespective of the column type can be numerical or categorical, but at those places you have to keep the nan values. Okay, if that value is missing, so you should keep the nan, or later on you can fix it with any, means you can apply any filling techniques, but you can keep the nan for that. Okay, so for when you have to drop the rows when the missing value is less than 5% of your whole data set. Okay, but there will be some situations where you have to keep the nan values. Okay, so when it is based on when the that particular column, okay, or that particular rows matters more. Okay, that matters more. Suppose, what do you say, suppose if you have a data set and there is a column called as end date. Okay, let's suppose if you have a column called as end date and that is missing. Okay, so that for that particular value, so for that particular row, that value is missing, the end date on that end date column. Okay, so that could be, there could be different meanings for that. If the end date is missing, it means there could be one meaning of that. One meaning which we can bring out from that is that basically that work is still going on. That's why there is no end date, because it is in present, it is continuous. So if it is continuous in working, so there would be no end date. So that is one of the possible reasons. And suppose if there is a discount column, okay, and for that particular any one for one particular row, that discount column have no value. For that particular row, there is the value is missing. So if it is missing, it does not means that um, there should be something, okay, or we should just directly remove it. It might have some meaning. It have some meaning like it must there should be a that there should be not given any discount. That could be probably one of the reasons. Okay, that's why it has leave as empty because no discount has been applied. Okay, so that could be one of the things. So we just cannot blindly remove, okay, or drop any row. We have to think first that what is the column, what type of value it can have. If it has none value, so is it if there can be possible reasons for them. Okay, suppose if there is rating, okay, and the rating is missing, so then what? Then you will remove it? No, you don't have to remove it. Then you have to keep it. It might so happen that user didn't give us the review. Okay, so if the user will not give the review, so that particular column will be blank. So you should not drop the row, okay, in that kind of cases. It means it has some value, okay, it has some informative value. Whether we are not able to know it, okay, but it has some informative value. So we should not blindly delete everything, okay. So sometimes to keep the nan, okay, as it is also one of the techniques, is also one of the way of handling the missing values. So yeah, that is one thing. Now let's go to the next step. Uh, guys, if you guys are feeling bored, so you can just let me know in the chat. So what we can do, we can just quickly finish it. I'll not explain that much if you guys want. Okay, so I'll just quickly write uh all the steps because my motive is to make you understand and make you uh ready for the industry. Okay, so that's why I'm trying to explain as much as I know. Yeah, just like Dikshit Acharya said, where is codes? Okay. So now there is no codes because now I'm just letting you know all the steps. Okay. So let me just quickly cover it up. Okay. So the next step is step 5, that is handle duplicates. Now, how you will handle duplicates? Okay. So for handling duplicates, there are two ways. Okay. First of all, you have to check whether that duplicate is a exact duplicate or a partial duplicate. Okay, if it is an exact duplicate, okay, so first of all, how you will check it? So for checking the duplicates, there is a function present in pandas. On your data frame you can apply it, duplicated. Okay, duplicated dot sum. So this will give you a total count of all the duplicate values present. Okay, and then there is one more function, that is df dot drop underscore duplicates. Okay, this will drop all the duplicates present in that. Okay, now when to remove the duplicate, okay, or when to investigate on duplicates? um are we going to be having a practical session? Are we going to be having a practical session? Yes, obviously. Yes, yes. After this, all the steps I will mention to you guys. Then after that, I have came up with a data set. So based on that data set, we'll try to perform all the data cleaning techniques which we have learned today. Okay. So yes, there would be the practical sessions. Yeah. So now, how to decide that what we have to how to handle the duplicates? Okay. So for deciding, there are two factors. If it is an exact copy, okay. If it is an exact duplicate, so then the simple way is just to remove it. Okay. Then just directly remove it. But when it is a partial copy, when it is a partial duplicate, okay, of our data, means it might so happen, no, that name is same, locality will be same. but uh, id will be different. Okay, some verification number would be different. So this kinds of time can be different. Okay, so that will be considered as a partial duplicate, means few of the columns are matching, but the unique values, the unique columns, okay, which separate each value from one another, that is different. Okay, so that based on that, what we have to do, we have to then perform investigation. Okay, so we have to investigate based on the ids are the unique values, so based on that we can see, based on the timestamp, date of birth. Okay, based on that, based on the phone number, because phone number cannot be same for two different peoples, the phone numbers cannot be same, that is also one logical thing. Okay, ids cannot be same. Okay, so like the passport number, okay, that will be not same, or there could be different kinds of ids. Okay, so that is not going to be same for two different persons. Okay, that will be same only for if that person is the same person which we have found it. Okay, so then if it is an exact duplicate, remove it. If it is a partial duplicate, so then investigate with the IDs and timestamp. And then if you'll find it as an exact duplicate, so remove it. If you'll not find it, then keep it. Okay. So this is step 5. Now the next step is step 6. That is uh, a standardized format. Okay. So that I have already told you that if you are finding a column called as date and it is not in date format, so please try to convert it in date format. So using what you can convert it, suppose if you have a data frame called as date. Okay, if you have a data frame called as date, so you can use this function to underscore date time. Okay, and you can put this column and your job will be done. It will be converted into a date time format. Okay, and you can explicitly mention the format also if you want. You can mention the format also. Okay, step 7. Let's move to the next step. That is what we have to do. We have to handle the outliers. Okay, so if there are outliers present in your data set, okay, so how you are going to handle it? That is the next step. That is step 7. Okay, now this is a context based thing, that there could be different scenario, based on that we can make the decision. Okay, if the scenario is that the data is error, okay, so then simply you can remove them. If it is a legit extreme value, means if it is a legit value but it is very extreme, then you have to keep it. Okay, so outliers are not always bad. Okay, so that is the thing, this is how you have to handle it. Okay, so you have to make decisions. Okay, and then you have to calculate, you have to perform some calculation, and then you have to try to keep it. Okay, the next step is that you have to validate the data consistency. What do you mean by this? Basically, you have to give the checks. Okay, you have to give the checks that uh, if we are talking about age, if we have a column called as age, okay, so age is always be greater than 0. It cannot be 0. It will be always greater than 0. So if you are getting a value like minus in age, so that is what? That is not a proper value. Okay, so that will be considered as a error value, that is will not considered as a valid. Okay, so to validate our data, to maintain the consistency of the data for that particular column, for all the columns, that is also very important. Okay, so discount can always be between 0 to 100. Discount will never be of 150%, 200%. Okay, it's not like that. So discount is one of the properties, or one of the columns which will always have values between 0 to 100. Okay, so we cannot have more than 100 or less than 0. So that is one thing. Sales is one of the thing which cannot be negative. Okay, so it should also be greater than 0 only. Greater than 0 or equals to 0. Okay, there could be some time that there is no sales, so it will be 0, but it cannot be less than 0. Okay, so that is there. So we have to validate the data to maintain the consistency. So that is the step 8. And the last and the final step is, after performing all these things, okay, then give it a check. Okay, give it a check. How you will give a check? To give a check, again you have to run those command df.info, df.isnull.sum. Okay, so check everything to ensure proper. So you can write the command again, the those three command with we have started. Again we can apply those commands to re-verify that if everything is fixed or not. Okay, if there are changes, you will automatically notice some changes. Okay, if you have performed data cleaning and if your data requires some cleaning, so you will see some change in the values. Okay, based on this. So these are the proper 9 steps which include each and everything based of our understanding, based of my understanding. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, there could be some possible extra steps. Okay, or one steps can be possibly separated in two of more steps, so it will be 10 or 11 steps. But for me, okay, and best of my knowledge, okay, these are the steps which are, okay, you can follow it to have a proper uh, data cleaning, to perform proper data cleaning. Okay, now guys, the wait is over. We have seen each and every step. Okay, now go to uh let's directly switch to our programming session, where we'll see and apply all those techniques which we have learned. Okay, and we'll try to cover each and everything. Okay, so let's do that. So first of all, uh, let's try by importing pandas as pd. Then let's try to import numpy as np. Okay, and yeah, that's it. And yeah, one more thing. Let's try to import this regular expression library. Okay, whenever if it will need it, so we'll apply it. Okay. Now, I've copied the part. So now let's just do what? Uh, I have the file present in my local directory, so I'll directly import it from there. So pd dot read csv. Okay. Okay, let me just copy the path. Uh, Let me load the data. Successfully loaded. Let me check with the shape. Okay, so it has 20 rows and 11 columns. Okay, then let's go with the columns. Now, before going with the columns, what I'll do, I'll just print my data frame. Okay, so this is my data frame. Okay, and as I can see, there are many. Okay, it's it is very improper. Okay, it's very improper in nature. So let's uh look out each and everything. Okay, and let's find anomalies in this. Okay, now that's why I've selected a small data set. Why? So that you guys can also with me figure out what are the improper things which should not be there in our data set, and we should fix them out. Okay, now let's first give a look at the all the columns. So rank, peak, all-time peak, actual gross, adjusted gross in 2022 in dollars, artist, to title, years, shows, average gross. Okay, and uh, the reference, okay, that is there. These are the values which is present in this. Now, this particular data set is taken from Kaggle. Now, this data set have some improper values, okay. It is let me give you a brief info about the data set. The data set is basically about um, the American artists, okay, the American women artists, okay, who have performed world tours, okay. So based on them, based on that, based on their world tours, how many uh, adjusted gross, actual gross, average gross values they have earned in their particular tour, what was the name of that tour, in which year or in which year's particular session that tour were held, okay. So all the particular, what was the artist name, okay. So all that particular information about that woman artist, okay, is there, okay, is present over there. So now this was all about the data set. Now let's just do what? Let's just simply see what are the things uh, which we need to fix it, which we need to fix it from in our data set. So first of all, as I can see over here, is okay. If this peak, as you can see, all the values are numerical in nature, but there are square braces, okay, which is I guess unnecessary. Okay, so if we'll go further and if we'll try to perform analysis or train our model based on this, so then it might give us an error as output. Okay, so that is one thing. Then in the price, in the actual gross, adjusted gross, and average gross. So these are the price columns. Okay, in this you can see there is a dollar symbol. So we don't want that. Okay, so there is a dollar symbol. Please share the CSV file. Yes, I'll share it after the live session will be over. I'll share the CSV file. Okay. Uh, Hello there. I have the data, lyrics, and Saregama notebook. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So now, as you can see, in all the price related columns, there is a dollar and the commas. Okay, that we don't want. Okay, that is in extra. So that we don't want. So that we need to clean it. Okay. And what are the other things? Okay, in the artist name you can see Beyonce. On the E, it is a special character. It's not the normal E. Okay, it's some different. Okay, so what we can do, we can replace it a normal, uh, with a normal, what you say, with a normal Beyonce. Okay, with a normal E. Okay, on the two title you will see there are some special or some different symbols. Okay, you can see here. Then there is means some different kind of symbols which is unnecessary. Okay, so that is also one thing which we can remove here. Okay, mm, then same on the average gross, the dollar and the commas. Then okay, in the whole ref column, okay, probably the reference column, there are square braces. Okay, so that we don't want. Okay, and in this on row 11, okay, on row 11, as you can see, there are two values, 15 and 16. So we should fix with that also. Either we should keep 15 or 16. Okay, so that is also one thing which we need to fix it. Okay, then on 16 you can see there is D, that we don't want it. Okay, because all the other values are numeric in nature. So yeah, that is also there. Then other than that, you will see on the peak and all-time peak, there are first of all on the values you will see there are unnecessary square braces which we don't need, so we can remove them. Then other than that, there are many missing values also, as you can see, nan. Okay, so what we can do now, we have an idea that there are missing values on for now we can identify on 2. Okay, later on we'll see that how many columns are there in which the missing values are present. We'll calculate the total percentage of them. Okay, and then based on that percentage we'll um, follow our approach and we'll try to fix it. Okay, so till now we have found out this. Okay, one more thing. Okay, as you can see here, uh, on the rank 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, it should be 8, but there is 2 times 7. Okay, so we need to fix this also. So in place of this 7, uh I means at the index value, if it is starting from 0, so at the index value 8, okay, we should means at the index value 7, okay, because it's starting from 0, we should apply 8 over there. Okay, so yeah, that is also one thing which we need to fix it. Okay, so now till now, that is only there. So now let's try to fix all these things. Okay, okay. uh Filippo, uh Philip is asking one question, that is it mandatory to remove, uh, what was the question? Is it mandatory to remove space and special characters from the column headers? Okay. No, no, it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory, but uh, it is strongly recommended. Okay, it's not mandatory. If we'll not do that, then also uh, it will work. Okay, so Python pandas can work with column names which has separated white spaces. Okay, so it can work, but you have to be then accurate. Okay, with the name. If it has some extra following white space, if it has some extra following white space, so you need to give that white space also, then only it will work. Okay, so yeah, that is there. So you should then be accurate with the names, then only it will work. Otherwise it can uh, then it will give you some errors. Okay, some name errors or some different kinds of error, so you have to deal with that. So if you don't want that kind of thing, so then simply there are 4 5 lines of code, just try to run this and it will be solved. Okay, so that is there. And many of the times what happen, no, if you want to avoid bugs, okay, suppose if you are working with the SQL queries, now you are working with CSV, suppose if you are working with the SQL queries, then these column names will affect many. Okay, then these column names will affect you. So then it is important, then it becomes very important. So yeah, it's not mandatory, it's upon you, it's not mandatory. So in short, it's not. Now let's go ahead. So we have find some of the problems with our data set. Okay, now we'll try to fix them out. So let's first start with finding the missing values. Okay, so now uh, as you can see, we have run this command df.isNull.sum to check how many null values in all the columns are there. So you can find out that on rank 0, on peak there is 11 values which is missing. On all time peak there are 14 values, 14 rows actually, uh, on that column where there are 14 rows in which the values are missing. Then in the rest of the columns there is no value missing, means all the values are there. So only there are two columns, peak and all time peak, where the values are missing. Okay, so now as we know that there are two columns, so let's just find out the percentage. Okay, that how many percentage it is. Okay, so it's very simple. What you have to do, just create an object, okay, and in that object you have to just do what, just copy this command, okay, and you have to, this is going to give you the total number, and divide this number with the total length of the values present in all the columns, okay, and then multiply it with 100. That's it. Print the null percentage, and it will give you the total percentage. So you can see on peak and all-time peak, on peak there is 55%, and in all-time peak there is 70% of the values are missing. So they are more than 50%, and now there is no need to fill them up with some of the, suppose if it is a numerical value with mean or median, because uh, then it might affect to lead us to a wrong conclusion. Why? Because half of the data is empty, is not is missing. It means what? It means based on what you are going to fill, based on some mean or median value you are going to fill, but you will do mean or median on half of the value or less than half of the value. On 30% data, if you'll do the mean or median, so what will be the output for that? And then you are going to fill the data. Suppose you are fine with the 30% median, okay, or the rest of the 30% data you have found out the median, and then you are filling the rest of the 70% data. Is it logical? No. So then it is a good thing to just delete only, okay. So yeah, 55 and 70%. Let's just do what? Let's just have use this. Okay, what I have told you, all the steps, if you remember that before touching the data, try to run these commands, okay, info, describe, okay, and then go and touch the data and then try to deal with them, okay. So now let's have a info of the data, okay. So total range index is 20 entries, okay, uh, ranging from 0 to 19. Total 11 columns are there. All the columns is mentioned, and most of the columns are of object type. So as you can see, out of the 11 columns, um, only 2 columns are of the integer type and 9 columns are of object type, which is also one of the things which we need to fix it, because as you can see, average gross is a price, okay. Then years is also in, it should be in numerical format, okay, or date time format, okay. Then adjusted gross, this is also one thing which is which belongs to the price related columns. So it is also in object formats. We need to convert it into numerical, and actual gross is one of the values, okay. That also we need to fix it, and we should convert it into uh, integer format, okay, or float format accordingly. So there are a few things in which we need to change the data type also. How much memory uses of this data is, it's a very small data set, so it's about 1 plus, it's about 2 kb, okay. Now let's just have a statistical summary. So for now we have only uh, two numerical columns. It will give you for only two, but if you want to have a look at all, so then you can have a you can use the include all command to have a summary. But because they are all the all the price related columns, means all the numeric columns are also now present in object format, so then it's no, okay. So first of all we have to go and fix this up, okay. So yeah, let's do that. So let's now first check for the duplicated values, that how many duplicated values are present. So df dot duplicated dot sum. So this will give us a count of the duplicate values, that if there are duplicate values present or not. So there is 0. It means there are no duplicate values present. Okay. Now let's just do that. Okay. Let's just see the structure of our columns, the names. Okay. Let's just look out that if there are some missing values present or not. Okay. So for this we can directly write df columns. Okay, but this df column is not going to give us the hidden values, okay. So for them what you need to do, we have to use the function called as toList. So this will do what, this will going to list the column names into a list format, okay. So when you will do that, so then if there are hidden characters, if there are they are present, so they will be also listed over here. So I can find one of the hidden characters, okay, in our name, which you can see over here on actual gross. Okay, this uh backslash XA0. Okay, so this is one of the things. And one more important issue, as I can see over here, uh the column name is very big, so we can change it and we can just make it adjusted gross. Okay, then there are spaces between the columns that we don't want. Okay, because it might give us an means I might make some mistake on extracting them or handling them, so that we don't need to do it, so we'll change it. Okay, and then there is a extra s. Now on the years column, as you can see, the values were like this. The values were 2023, 2024, then 2023, 2028, 2029. So for these, for this thing, what you can do, you can separate this year column into two columns, uh, start year and end year. Okay, you can do that if you want. You can do that also if you want more specific, because this is not a proper format. Because of that, if you see the inform about means what type it is, so it is in object type. So you can change this particular thing. Okay, and you can make it uh, start here means we can convert it into two different columns, so start and end. So we can do that also. Okay, so that is also one thing which we can do it. Okay, now let's just do what? Let's just try to fix it out. Okay. So first of all, we'll start fixing with our structures. Okay. So first of all, we'll start fixing with our column names. So let's do that. So see, there are many ways. Okay. One way is that physically you can write all the extract all the columns. Okay. And after extracting all the columns, then you can map them to the columns which you want it. Okay. Using a dictionary, and then you can apply the changes. This is one thing which you can do. Or using regex also, you can do it with the re module. Okay, using the re module, using regex, that also you can do it. So let's try to do it using the regex. So df dot columns, we have extracted all the columns. Then on our columns, what we want to do, we will apply the str function, replace. Okay, here we'll give a regular expression that it is not a normal separation code. Okay, it is a line breaking or non-line breaking, this one. Okay, this particular character, this one we are trying to put it over here. So if you'll not use the regular expression, then what will happen? Then basically it will be treated as uh some different thing. Okay, so that we don't want. So that's why we are using regex here. And now because we are using regex, so inside the replace we have to make sure that we should do it over here regex equals to true. So inside the replace you have to make sure that you are doing regex equals to true. Okay, so this particular code will do what? It will particularly replace all the places in your column where this particular value is coming with a normal space. Okay, so it will do that. And let's just do what? Let's again print this thing. So again we'll run this command over here. Okay, let's execute this. So now you will see that in actual gross and adjusted gross, okay, there was this particular structure or particular, what you say, particular characters which are now replaced with a normal space. Okay, as you can see here. And later on, what we can do, we can remove this space, okay, and we can fill this space with underscore, okay. Okay, someone has sent a message. What if the end year was not specified? Uh, if the end year is not specified, there is a situation also like that. If you'll go here and you will see on the second only, okay, on the Beyonce, okay, on the second one, there is only one 2023, okay. So end year is not specified. It means what? The starting year is also to 2023, and in the same year it has ended. That is a common thing to understand. If there is no end year mentioned, it means what? That in the same year it has started, okay, and in the same year it has ended. That's why there is not specified any end year. So that is a common thing. This is the thinking which you have to develop, okay, and that will come with practice. If you will not practice, then that will not going to come, okay. So this is one thing which will come with practice only, okay. So yeah, that is there. uh Now, as we have replaced that particular characters, so now what we can do, now let's just replace the spaces and fill it with them the underscores. So let's do that. So that also we will perform using regex only. So what we'll do, again, we have to extract the dot columns. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just use the same thing. Okay, so the same line again, that's there. And now I'll make the changes. Okay, so here again, I'll use regex only. So whenever we use regex, so black says s plus, okay, this means that this particular backslash s means any white space character, okay, and plus, so it means that it will match with normal space also, it will match with backslash d also, it will match with backslash n also, it will match with a non-breaking space like this also, it will match with everything, okay. So it will match, this particular regex symbol will match with any kind of space. So if there is any kind of space, and this plus means that if it is one or more times, okay, this plus means that if it is one or more times coming, okay, or many spaces are there like this. So replace all the spaces with what value? Uh with our underscore, okay. So replace it with underscore, okay, that's there. Okay. Okay, that's it. Let's try to do this. Let's see if it is filled with that. Okay, so all the places where there was some spaces, now there is an underscore. Okay, and we have successfully able to try to do it. Now there is one more way, guys. There is one more way in which you can try to do that particular thing. Okay, so for that also you need to uh, first of all extract your columns, then you can use list comprehension for that. Okay, so yes, you can use list comprehension. So you can use the module re, okay, in that there is a function called as sub, okay. Using that sub function, which will be used to extract the particular substring, okay, from there, and then you can replace it. So what you have to do, again, you have to write the same particular regex, okay, same regex, backslash s plus, okay. Then you have to give with what you want to replace it. So with backslash, okay, But the only good thing about this is that here now you can apply more functions also. So let's say if you want to apply on your means on each column, if you want to apply the strip function, okay, so the strip function is used to remove white spaces from the forward and from the backward, okay, of the word. So that also you can apply it. Then other than that, you can apply the lower function um, on the whole text, on the whole word, so that all, as you can see, A is in capital, T is in capital, P is in capital. So it's following a camel case. Okay, so you can make everything in lowercase for your convenience if you want it, then only. And because you are doing it in a list comprehension, so then just apply the loop that for call in df dot columns, okay, and then print df dot columns. That's it. So now you'll see the columns have been changed. Okay, the underscores are applied. That was applied with that replace function also, but here we have not applied the lower and the strip thing. So now we have applied that also. Okay, so that is also there. This is also one way. So now we are done with our column names. Okay, now we have fixed those things. Now let's just do what? Let's change the large names, just like adjusted gross, okay, in 2022 dollars. So we don't want that, so we can just simply change to adjusted gross. Okay, then there is years, s is there. Why we need that? So we can just simply make it years. Okay, we don't need this extra parenthesis. Okay, so we can change it. Then in this reference there is ref dot. We don't need this extra dot symbol. Ref will also tell the same thing. So then what we can do, we can replace it with ref. That also we can do. Okay, so let's just do that. So now we will rename it. So now we have to rename the large columns or the unnecessary names. Okay, so we have to use df dot rename, in which we have to select our columns and we have to map them up with our dictionary. So it's very easy. What you have to do, you have to first select the column, and with what name you want to change it with. So let's say for adjusted gross in 2022 dollars, you want to just give adjusted gross. So just write adjusted gross. Then if there are more columns you want to change, suppose if there is years and you want to change the years also, so you can do that for years also. Again, with what value you want to change it, so with years. Okay, then there is ref, so select this also and give ref, and that's it. Okay, then again print df dot columns dot to list. Okay, oh, okay, my bad. Column will be there, I have given a comma. So okay, so now you can see rank, peak, all-time peak, actual gross, adjusted gross. Now everything is removed. Okay, dot and years, parentheses, everything is removed. Okay, so okay, that is there. Now let's deal with the columns where we have uh, the null values, and as we have seen, the percentage of those null values is higher than 50%. Okay, so there is no need of them. Okay, so now we're going to remove the column with the most null values. Okay, so we'll remove them up. So what we'll do, df dot drop, select the all the columns, put it inside a list. So let's say peak, is the column, and all-time peak, these two are the columns. Okay, so now see, it's very easy for me to write, okay, peak and all-time peak, because I know every character, because now my mindset is clear that every column name is in lowercase. So I don't need to remember that A is capital, T is capital, or P is capital. Now I know every word of that column is in lowercase, and there is no white spaces, so there is no confusion. In place of white, or to join the two words, I have to use underscore. Now my mind is clear because I have fixed in that way. Okay, I have converted in that way, in which way I wanted it, in which way for me it's comfortable. Okay, and axis equals to 1. So column wise, we want to delete the whole column only. That's why we have make axis 0. Let's execute this. Successfully executed. Okay. If you want to verify, uh, let's just verify it. So you will see there is no peak. There is no all-time peak. Okay. Okay. That's it. Let's move, and column names are clear. So till now, these are the changes which we have made. Okay. And now, this is one thing, 7 7, as you can see. So now let's just try to fix it out. Okay. So before fixing it out, one more time, if you want to verify it, so you can verify it. So on the rank column, you can just write sort values and ascending equals to true. So you will see 2 7. Okay. And what is the index value? Index value is 7. Okay. Column is first column. Okay. Column is the first column and index value is 7. So let's try to locate this and change the value to 8. Okay. Because there are 2 times 7. So what I'll do on our data frame, I'll use the uh, attributes, you can say, or the function, you can say, which is used to access or extract that particular variable from your data frame, that is ilog. Okay, based on indexes you can find the location, that's why the name is ilog. So here it takes values in row column format. So first it takes the rows, then comma, then it takes the column. So the column is the first column, because of that I'll write in the place of column, which is the second value, I'll write 0. And the first column is for the row. So the row is, as you can see, the it starts the count from 0. So the row is 7. Okay. So I have written 7 here. Now I have to change the value to what? 8. So I'll just simply write 8. Then I'll just simply print df head uh, 10 values. So I'll get it. So now you will see 7 and 8 is there. Okay. So I have printed only the 10 values because it will come inside the 10 values because of that. So you can see after 7, now there is 8, then 9, then 10, and then it will be continued. So this one of the problem which we have fetched, that is also now fixed. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Now, based on our prices, okay, the columns which were fixed for prices, that was actual gross, adjusted gross. Philip is saying, sorry, is this live session recorded? Sadly, I have to leave soon. It's okay, bro. Yes, this live session is later on. You if you'll come to the channel, so you will find it out, okay, in the data analysis playlist. I have put this live session in data analysis playlist. So whenever you are free, you can come and watch the whole live session, okay? So that you can do. And don't worry, only I guess 15 minutes more we have to wait, and then it will be finished. Okay, so we'll keep this particular thing till data cleaning only. We'll not move forward to the EDA approach, because it's I think it's approx 2 hours now. So we'll also end it, okay, soon. So yeah, that is there. So now what we have to do, we will extract only the numbers, okay, only the price columns, that is actual gross, adjusted gross, and average gross. And we'll replace the dollars and each and every values, okay, from them using regex. Okay, so that we will do. So let's do that. So let's first of all set the columns in which we want to make the changes. Okay, so the column name is first of all actual gross. Okay, then adjusted gross, then there is average cross. Okay, so these are the three columns which we have extracted. Now we'll just simply apply a loops. So for call in calls, df call. Okay, so we are extracting each column at a time, and then we'll do what? We'll make the changes which we want. So dot str dot replace. So we'll simply use the replace function here. Okay, let's give the regular expression. So if there are values other than, so we are extracting the numerical values, okay? So it will do what? It will extract only the numeric values. So it will only include the values which are from 0, between 0 and 9. Other than that, it will not going to extract anything, okay? We'll replace it with a normal, okay? Normal, no space, only a normal string, and we'll make regex equals to true. That's it. Let's run the command. Successfully executed, okay? Now, if you remember, I have told you that in the artist column also, the Beyonce name is slightly different. So let's replace that also quickly. Okay. See, it's not going to put any effect. Okay. But it is something which is not present in our keyboard. We cannot access it. So let's just quickly change it only. It's just a few minute work, not a few minute, a few second work. Dot str again dot replace. Okay. We have to extract that name. Uh, Let me put it over here, and let's change with the real spelling. That's it. And in the end, you have to make regex equals to true. That's it. Let's execute this. Successfully executed. Let's make the other changes. Okay. So now, if you'll notice, on the to title also, there are text, but there are some special unnecessary symbols also that we don't want. Okay. That is just making it complex to read it. As you can see, this the sign here, okay, the extra square braces. So we don't want that. So let's just make that fixes also, okay. So for that, what we need to do, we have to extract the tour underscore title column, okay. Then we have to apply the replace function, okay. So for that, first of all, we need to call the str. So dot str dot replace. Okay, now here we are going to apply a regex, which we have seen in most of the password matching. Okay, password matching. What we have to do, we will include all the lowercase characters from A to Z. Then we'll include all the uppercase characters from A to Z. Then we'll include all the numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, and all the white spaces. Okay, so we want all the white spaces also. So that's why we have given backslash s. Okay, now this, okay, and we'll make the regex equals to true. So this particular command will do what? This particular line will only extract, as I have given, from lowercase a to z, uppercase a to z, and 0 to 9, and all the white spaces. So this going to extract only the text, numbers, and the spaces. Other than that, it's not going to extract anything. Okay. So it will exclude any other special characters, because I have mentioned here clearly, as you can see, a dash z, it means in lowercase all the characters from a to z, in uppercase all the characters, and all the numerical values means all the numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, and all the spaces. So it is just going to extract numbers, characters, and spaces. Other than that, it will not extract any other thing. Okay, so that is the thing. Then I'll not run this command because one more thing is missing over here. I have to add one more line because I need here two replaces to work together. And why I need two replaces to work together? Because there is one column you will find it um, where you have square braces 4, then you have a, okay, then at some place there is one more value. I have seen that. Okay, so there was one more. uh, I have printed only 10. No, let me print 20. Okay, so I can do it over here. So let me just do what? Let me just bring out one more cell. Okay, after this, or after this. Yeah, here. So I'll print the whole data set. So now you will see, uh, okay, there is one asterisk, there is one 21 A. Okay, so this is the extra thing. Okay, and here you will find 4A. Okay, so we need to exclude that also. So for that, again, we need to write one regex for that also. So that's very simple. Again, that will be very simple. What you have to do, we have to mention each and everything. So here 4 is there, so we don't want 4. Then A is there, we don't want A. Then there is uh 2, then there is 1, and then there is again A. So whatever the places we find these things, we want to change it. We want to replace it with a normal, nothing, no space. We just want to change it. Okay, regex equals to true. And then what you can apply, then you can apply a str function called as a strip, so that if if this particular um characters, okay, unwanted characters is replaced, so it should not leave a white space, so that's why we are applying the strip, so that from the front and from the back, all the extra spaces should also be removed. Let's run the command. The command is successfully executed. Okay, now that's it. Now one more change that we have to make it over here, that is on the ref column. As you can see there, every value is in the square braces. That we don't want. Okay, so that we don't want, so we need to change it. So let's just quickly change that also. So what I'll do, again, I can use this command only. Okay, I don't need to again write the code, because everything will be same, only I will change the column name. Okay, and this particular regex thing, that I'll change, and everything will be same. Okay, str replace. Okay, and here what we have to do, because as you can see the values are compromising, okay, square braces, we have to remove the square braces. Okay, and at one place there is D also, you can see here there is D also, so we need to change that also to 0. Okay, we can change D to 0, so that we can do. So square braces, backslash, then there is a square braces, then again backslash, so that square braces will not be there. Okay, replace it with a blank. Okay, then one more command is there to replace the D with 0. What we can do, we can just simply write D, and at this place we can write 0, regex equals to true. Let's run this command, successfully executed. Now one more important thing was, as you can see there were two values, it should be atomic in nature. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll make it either 15 or 16. So let's replace 15 16 with 15. Okay, so again, now I have to use ilog. Based on index, I'll extract the values. So it is, as you can see, ref is the last column. Okay, so it is the 10th minus 1 equals to 15. So successfully changed. Okay, um okay, now everything is changed. Let's check the data types now. So now again, there is only two values which have integer data type. Other values have object. So what I have told you that uh, the values which are numeric in nature, just like the price, actual gross, adjusted gross, average gross, and reference, they have numeric values. So they need to be changed into a numeric column. So for that, what we need to do it, for that we need to again run the command to change it, to change these four columns, okay, into numeric values. So again, we will first of all do what? I have already used this call, so I'll use this. I'll put it over here. I'll add one more column in this, that is the ref. And based on this, what I'll do, again, df calls equals to df calls, okay, dot apply. So apply is a function which can apply a function to all the columns. Okay, so yeah, apply, and in this apply, I'll call the pd dot to numeric. This is the function which will convert all the numeric columns into numeric format. Okay, which are now the columns which are now in object format, that will be changed in numeric. Okay, and errors equals to, I'll make this as um course why this errors is used. Suppose if in this columns if there is one value which may be missed with us, and that value can be ABC. Okay, so ABC never going to be changed or never going to be transcripted in a numeric format, because ABC is is a character. Okay, so we cannot change it in a numeric format. So only numeric values which are stored inside the string format, they can only be converted to a numeric data type. Okay, so then what we need, then it will give us an error if you'll find any ABC or any character. So that's why this errors equals to course will do what? It will basically, if we will find any characters, so using this errors equals to course will convert the invalid values to nan, to empty values. Okay, so then it will not give us any error. So that's why, that is the reason to use this. Let's run the command again. Cell is successfully executed. Okay, uh, that's it. What we can do, let's have a look at our data set. So now you will see the data set. It's very clean, it's very neat. Okay, in the ref you will notice everything is removed. In the tour title, every tour title is looking neat and clean, and the whole data set is, means I can see that how it's very neat and clean. Okay, then what we can do, the last thing which with which we are left is uh, the year. If you want to split the year, if you want to do it, otherwise it is perfect. But because one problem is there, that it is also still it is in that format, what you say, uh, object format, and it's not accurate. If we'll means if we'll format it in stat year and end year in two columns, so that will be more good. So we can do that. So first of all, for performing that, let's create a user defined function for parsing years. Okay, so it will take a parameter y, that will be years. Okay, and what we'll do, it's very simple. If pd dot is na, will verify all the validations if it is not empty and all. So do what? If it is empty, so then return np dot nan. Okay, now if that condition satisfies, then return np dot nan. If that condition does not satisfy, so do what? stry, first of all, strip means convert the year into string, and then strip means then first of all convert it into string, so that the string function strip can be applied. So if there are extra spaces from the forward and the backward, that should be removed. Okay, so that is one of the validations which we should perform. Now we will find out our 4-digit year. Okay, so for that, whatever the command we are going to write, re dot find all is the function which is used to find. Okay, here we'll mention the regex. Okay, so we have to find date integer of 4-digit. Okay, so that's why backslash d is for integer. Okay, and whatever the digit, the total count is 4. So for 4-digit we want to find it. Okay, and from which we want to find it, so from y we want to find it. Okay, so y from the year, from the parameter which we are taking inside the function, from that we want to extract 4-digit year. Okay, now and store it in m. Now what we'll say, if length of the m is equals to 0, so then do what? Then return again np dot nan. Okay, np dot nan. Okay, again one condition, if the length of the m is equals to 1, so then do what? Return, and now we'll convert it into integer format. So integer m, extract the first value. Okay, then inside the whole condition, then again use the integer function, then extract the integer m 0. Okay, and if these two conditions are not correct, not satisfying, then in the last, in the function itself, return m 0, integer, here m1. Okay, so if it is the same year, means if there are only one year, means only one value is found, so then return that. If there are two values found, so then return m with 0, means the first value and the second value. Okay, that is what we are trying to say, and that is what our function is going to do. Then what we are going to do, we will create, now we have to create two function, two columns. So I'll write the name start year, and one will be the end year. So start year and end year equals to df dot, not dot, we have to extract the years. Okay, and it is the column, so it will be inside the strings. Okay, years dot apply. Now inside the apply we have to use a lambda function because it's only needed for this purpose only. Lambda x pd dot series. Now here we are using series, okay, because one by one we have to apply it. And inside series what we'll do, parse years. Okay, and what is the parameter? X. So x is the parameter that we are providing over here. Okay, and that's it. Let's execute the cell. Okay, it seems some error, name error. Okay, I have made some mistake in writing the name. What is parse years? Oh, okay, okay, no years, year is there. Okay, so year. So now it has successfully executed. Okay, and yeah, one more important thing which we need to do now, because we have already created start year and end year, so we don't now need the years column. So let's just delete the years column. X is equals to 1, we need to delete the whole column only. So let's execute this cell. Now done. Let's print the df, and now you will see your rank is correct, actual gross, the money, the price is correct, adjusted gross price is correct, artist Beyonce is fixed, tour title, every name is fixed. Okay, source that was already in numeric format or object format, average gross is checked, ref is checked. Okay, ref is checked, it is in integer format, we have already converted in start year and end year, as you can see. And what was the question? The question was from Philip, I guess, that he was saying if the end year is same. So you can see if the end year is, and there is, if there is only one value, so that will be considered for start and the end year both. Okay, so now everything is fixed. You can verify with the data types also. So df dot d types. Okay, so you can verify. Now most of the values which we have already converted, it is in integer format. Okay, that you can already see. So this is how step by step we perform data cleaning. Okay, now our data is cleaned. Now you can perform, if you want, now you know how to perform the EDA, exploratory data analysis. So if you want, you can perform that and you can go ahead with that. Okay, there is a question in the chat, okay, by um, Karthik. He's saying if rank has multiple inconsistent values in large data set, so how to handle? Now we changed for single with index since it is a small data. How to handle this easily if it is a large data set? Okay, so that is the question. Okay, see, so for that, first of all, what we need to consider, first of all, uh, we have to understand why rank is inconsistent. Okay, So usually it will be, maybe it will happen that uh, so first of all, we have to check the value count, okay, or the unique values. That is one of the way. That is one thing which you can do, and based on that, then you can perform any good strategy. I mean, suppose you can, um, based on some. I mean, suppose here the ranking is made based on some, okay, some gross, okay, some actual gross or adjusted gross or the average gross. Based on that, as you can see, for one, the average gross is high. For two, is less. With so on, it is going less, 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 and less. Okay. So based on that, based on any value or any score, okay, you can calculate the rank. Okay. And then you can just directly apply any value. Okay, based on the ranking. You can do that also. Okay. Or if you are finding some duplicate ranks, okay, so then you can fix them by using some different columns. Based on that, if the rank is specified, so that is one possible way in which you can do or solve that particular thing. So yeah, there are possible ways. If you want, I'll come up with that kind of data set, okay, and we'll try to do that. Now the time will not permit us, so I'll not go further and explain you the EDA. But based on this clean data set, now what you can do, you can export the data set also, uh, as and you can store it as a clean data set, and then later on you can practice it with the EDA. Everything you can do, okay. So let's keep this much only for this class, okay, and that's it. This is how you can apply data cleaning on your data set, okay. Step by step process I've already mentioned you, and we have tried it also. So thank you so much for watching this live session, okay, for being there, and to make the session very engaging, okay. And yes, I'll share the CSV and I'll share the class file also, so you guys can go and download it, okay. So yeah, that's it. That's the time. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you guys are learning Python and uh, trying to perform or use these ML models and data analysis, okay, on your data sets, okay. You guys can go and randomly select any data set for practice. If you guys want to practice, you can just go. It's not preferably that you should practice on this data set only. If you want, you guys can go and download it. That's fine. But if you want to practice, you should have the proper knowledge of the data set. That is the first thing, okay. And based on that, you have to just write the command will can be wrong, and command is something which you have to learn, okay, which you can remember also. But the strategy building, what you want to do, that is one thing that will come with experience based on multiple data sets, okay. So yeah, okay then guys, that's all, okay. Any queries, so just do comment, I'll check it. Or we have our multiple platforms, you can go and join that platforms, okay, where I inform whenever I came live. I just inform in those places. So before 1 or 2 or 3 hours before, so you guys can be ready. So please join on all our channels, subscribe this channel also, and be attentive. And we guys always give update about Python, okay, about machine learning, about data science. So stay tuned up. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you in the next live session.